we visit St Cuthbert's Kirk in Edinburgh. Once this place was very different. Long before streets, gardens and railways filled this valley, the ground beneath Edinburgh Castle was a natural hollow of pasture and small streams. Several springs, emerging from the base of the rock, gathered into a small burn that wound its way through the valley here. A stream that later came to be known as the Tumble Burn. It passed close by this kirk and ran eastward into the waters of the Nor Loch. In the 18th century, the loch was drained and the valley slowly reshaped. Gardens were laid out, railways were driven through the ground, and the old burn disappeared beneath the growing city. Yet the water still flows. Hidden now beneath the streets and lawns of the gardens, the burn continues its quiet course below the surface, eventually joining the Water of Leith near Dean village. In the early Christian world, places of flowing water were often regarded as sacred. Springs and burns offered life, cleansing, and quiet retreat, and many early saints settled beside them. It is perhaps no surprise then that a church dedicated to Cuthbert of Lindisfarne came to stand here beside the water beneath the rock. Tradition holds that around AD 670, Cuthbert, the wandering Northumbrian monk who later became Bishop of Lindisfarne, travelled through this region preaching Christianity while staying near the fortress on Castle Rock, then part of the Northumbrian kingdom. It is said he rested and prayed in the valley below. When I imagine saints today, I often picture great stone kirks and magnificent buildings. Yet in the beginning things were far more modest. A small wooden church, or perhaps a simple monastic cell, is said to have stood here long before the later buildings rose. Records confirm that a church stood here by at least the 12th century. Around 1127, during the reign of David I of Scotland, it was granted to Holyrood Abbey. The abbey oversaw the parish and appointed its clergy, and St Cuthbert's became one of the most important churches serving the city. The present church, designed by architect Hippolyte Blanc, was completed in 1894, replacing an earlier Georgian church that had stood here since 1775. The Victorian structure you see today was built to serve the growing population of Edinburgh's expanding West End. As we enter the kirkyard, we encounter the statue of David Dickson, who served here as minister for nearly 40 years in the early 19th century. Dickson was a respected preacher and scholar, remaining a leading figure in the parish until his death in 1842. Just a year before, a great division would shake the Church of Scotland. The conflict that followed became known as the Disruption of 1843. At the heart of the dispute was a question of authority. Under the system known as patronage, local landowners held the legal right to appoint the minister of a parish. This meant a congregation could find a minister imposed upon them, whether they wished it or not. For many ministers within the Church of Scotland, this raised a deeper question. Who truly governs the Church? Is it the authority of the state or the authority of Christ, whom they believed to be the true head of the Church? On the 18th of May 1843, the dispute reached its breaking point. At the General Assembly in Edinburgh, around 450 ministers rose from their seats and walked out. By doing so, they surrendered their churches, their manses, their salaries, and the parish positions many had held for years. Believing the Church must remain spiritually free under Christ rather than subject to the authority of the state, they later gathered elsewhere in the city and established what became known as the Free Church of Scotland, marking one of the most dramatic divisions in Scotland's religious history.